but yeah, so when I called you and, said, hey, here's what we're doing. Would you like to be on?
Yeah.
I said, well, okay, what would you like to talk about? And immediately you said, I want to talk about secularization,
Yes.
and the secular movement.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
Why is that something that you think is of prime importance for people to understand, to listen to hear?
Right. So secularization, just so we're clear what we're talking about, because it's something for which people usually don't have a very good word, but basically it's the process that you can observe in pretty much any single family, let alone our entire country, of what is happening to us in religious terms. Meaning, whereas in the past, people claimed some kind of religious affiliation or were almost certainly raised with some kind of religious affiliation, now neither of those things is true.
I think we both agree with this, that one of the things that might be missing from the Christian formula today, kind of where we live, in America 2023, is there seems to be a lack of an understanding of the necessity and the importance of discipline.
It's grounding. When you have these things that you're going to do every day, right? Or that are good for you, and you just do them, then you're grounded. You don't have to second guess it. And it's good for you because it's feeding your mind, it's feeding your body, right? It's doing these good things. And yeah, I mean, same thing for other people, right? You have these things, whatever it is that you do, because that's the nice thing is you can do whatever you want, right? So I'm doing pull-ups. Well, maybe someone wants to do push-ups, or maybe someone wants to wake up at a certain time. Reading the Bible is another thing, right? So every morning before I go to the gym, work out, I listen to the Bible for an hour, right? And you get it done.
Your statement, and I love the statement, you've got teenage children. They're living in a world where they've experienced now overt persecution from the state, living in a world where the very air they breathe outside of your household and outside of church is going to be of a philosophy and a way of thinking and a way of valuing and pursuing things that is contra Christianity. And yet you look at those kids and you say, I'm not worried.
The human nature, of course, is worried. The sinful nature, of course, is worried. But if I'm not worried, what's the opposite? To be confident. So then the question is, where is my confidence? And my confidence is in the Word of God, which I have shared freely with my children, both in my home and by taking them to church. And then as you watch, as they mature, you realize that they are able to start to do this without me. And that really, I think, should be the goal of your teenage years. Not this, that's how they're going to be. They just will be out of touch and they're going to be with their friends and they don't respect authority. But I'm sure they outgrow it. It's a normal phase. And then when they're in their 20s, we'll reconnect. No, that's not a biblical model. But rather, the goal should be that they should be young adults just about ready not to need you, including in spiritual matters, really important matters. So how do you do that? An analogy that comes to my mind is, how do you teach a child to walk across the street? So when they're very little, you carry them across the street. You don't let them walk, not even holding your hand, because they might, the 2-year-old, the hand comes loose. You pick them up and you carry them across the busy street, right? And of course, you're looking both ways and making sure the traffic is clear before you go. Then as they get a little older, now they can walk, but you hold their hand and you sometimes hold it firmly. You say, no, wait, there's a car coming. See that? We need to look both ways before we go across. And then eventually you're not holding hands, but you're still verbally reminding them and you're having them practice looking both ways before you cross the street. And then as they get a little older and they want to go across the street to play at a friend's house, you're standing in the front yard and you're looking both ways and you're saying, okay, now it's free. Now it's clear. You see that it's clear? Yep. Okay, go ahead. And so they walk across the street alone, but you're right there helping them know that it's safe at that moment to walk across the street, right? But then after that, they can walk across the street without you. You might call out, from the kitchen, right, as they're going, you might say, remember to look both ways, right? And then after a while, you don't say that either because they just know it. But finally, they lead someone else across the street. They carry someone, they hold someone's hand, they give the verbal clues. I want my great-grandchildren to walk across the street safely. I may never meet them, but I'm training my children who will train their children. And it's the same with the Word of God.